Hey.
Do our best, but tech is
Sweet.
tech is tech.
Tech is indeed tech. Can you all hear me now? I have a new microphone, and the new microphone is not connected to some of the areas on occasion. How is that? Can you all hear me now? Who needs sound? Accurate, Falangor. Y'all talk for a minute. Make sure that you guys are good.
Hello. I don't know
Me,
why
me,
I
me,
sing
me.
You.
Hello. Salute.
Sweet.
Good
As
to
long
see
as
everyone here.
everyone is audible, amazing. Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to the Fae Realm. We are back with Death, and I'm gonna pass it straight over to Adam and make him explain the predicament that we're in.
So Loraphyra made a friend.
She made a few.
She made a few friends. But she made one in particular, who may have gone through your pockets and procured for herself a ticket or several to the carnival. The ticket, of course, is the mist talisman that is required to get to the carnival and not become lost elsewhere in the mist. However, because of your efforts and the efforts of other agents of the Raven Queen, instead of becoming lost in a random domain, you were instead whisked away to the Fortress of Memories, just on the Great Bridge outside of her throne. The broken, dilapidated, ruined fortress, which, despite its weaknesses, has repelled many invasions over the centuries. And you stand before it now. The cold stillness, the strange darkness, and gray of the Shadowfell is all around you. Even in a place like Akath, even in a place like Tempest, the lack of light, the lack of expression, of emotion, is felt deeply, or rather missed deeply here. Around you are surrounded spectral images of fellow agents who flank you on each side as you stand before the gates of the fortress. It is just as well Drausken has been battling with a myriad of pointed questions. His uncertainty of the mission dwelling in his heart. Questions abound in all of you. Even Loraphyra, who, despite everything, remains loyal to her queen, but would know rather than not. What truly happens to the domains? What truly happens to the peoples within them?
God damn it.
Just can't
Oh,
wait.
I've done the intro. You guys go.
It's not you. It's that
We're
down a
girl
man.
vanished.
Oh yeah,
Down a
that's true.
one.
Yeah, good point.
Yi-Ling's just
Yeah, go ahead.
Yi-Ling's just leaning on her glaive because she's gone through it. She's hurt, and she's noticed the other groups around them, but she's too tired to question it at this moment.
I mean,
Well,
mhm.
Drausken is going to be immediately on guard and sort of backing up towards Loraphyra, weapons at the ready. Like, I recognize this location, but not these people. Are they servants or are they enemies?
Well, the fact that they have not immediately attacked us makes me think fellows like us.
Of course, one of them you do recognize.
Yeah, I'm gonna indicate over, and one of them is our fallen comrade, the Wild.
He has not greeted us.
I do not think that they are really here.
Are they, DM, are they moving at all or talking or just statues, sort of?
They're kind of in idle movement.
It's a character
Right.
select screen.
Yeah.
They're idling. Yeah. The Wild's tail sort of swishes back and forth. Occasionally, kind of changes his stance, redistributing his weight, twiddling his fingers about.
Sierra, do you know why we are here and not at the carnival? She begins patting down her pockets. Wait a minute.
No idea. Drausken's going to walk over to Wild and kind of... Wild, are you in there?
Greetings, friend. I fear I am not exactly who you expect. I am what this place gathers. I am an echo only.
Are you coming with us again?
Alas, I cannot.
And then over his shoulder. Seems we have more questions for your queen.
Unsurprising. You are full of them.
The ticket is gone, so that's why we are not at the carnival. Apologies.
That explains much.
Perhaps I lost it during the battle.
Perhaps.
Next time it will go into the bag of holding.
Well, perhaps, since we have found ourselves back here again, the queen can offer us another free trip.
One can certainly hope, but we will learn nothing standing out here on the doorstep, and Loraphyra will start walking toward the door.
The portcullis begins to lift as you approach, welcoming you back in its own way.
Maybe perhaps this time we'll get some answers.
Perhaps.
I'd love to share in that optimism. Drausken will go ahead and sheath his sword, but he's keeping an eye on the figures as he makes his way inside.
Walking.
Once again, after making your way through the halls, you find the Raven Throne, her seat within the fortress, surrounded by her various baubles, her mementos that she collects from mortals and gods alike.
As we come in...
I think you're up, priestess.
Just give him a sideways look with a very slightly arched eyebrow, and then walk to the appropriate place where for supplicants and sink gracefully to a knee. My queen.
My child.
I think Loraphyra's jaw drops open, would not quite be able to help herself. Just like, it is good to hear your voice, my lady.
Regrettably, it has been some time since we have spoken. She slowly moves her hands to the armrests of her throne. She leans forward and she stands. And then gracefully brings her hands together in a clasp under her chest. Please, rise.
I will stand up as my queen commands, still in shock.
It is we who must show respect to thee. Through thine efforts, thou hast given to us a fraction of ourselves. We begin to put it together, to be again.
That brings me more joy than I may ever be able to express.
My child, once we reopen the way to Arvandor, there we elves shall truly at last know true joy, as we were always meant.
I dream of that day.
There is yet much to be done. There are more fractions of us strewn about the shadows, held by the dark powers, forgotten, and dare not make more bold moves, not knowing mine enemies. They do abound. They see thy movements, thine actions, thy might. They stir and make themselves known. There has one who hath befallen thee, usurped your gift, cut us off.
We have been encountering those like us for other entities, I believe. An archfey. A goddess. A demon prince. Those who would seek to usurp your power, my lady.
And more still,
We are beset.
ours is a great kingdom of shadow, of the dead, of death, memory. We would honor these things, but there are others who would plunder, use, despoil. In truth, we are glad to see thee and thy companions, each one, though not Shadar Kai, are beloved, honored, and seen by us. Thou hast many questions. My strength limited. Speak.
You know that my devotion to you is utter. But you are correct. And glance at the others, have questions. I think perhaps the most important one, the one that appears to be something of a sticking point for each of us, is what happens to the domains and the people in them once we have fulfilled our mission within that domain.
Dost thou know of soul coins?
I am passingly familiar with the concept.
Iron bits forged in hell, within which is kept the soul of a mortal, imprisoned, to be traded and bartered. In some cases, devoured. Imagine the horror, the nightmare of being so trapped within. What difference when one is barred from passage. Perhaps I will show thee. Wouldst thou see mine kingdom?
I'm going to glance at the others again, getting a read on what they're gathering from this.
Yi-Ling looks stricken when the Raven Queen mentions souls being trapped and not able to pass on.
Drausken has a look to him. Rather intense kind of gaze. You might have a hard time telling exactly what it is, but from the white-knuckled grip that you can see that he has on his sword, you suspect he's not taking this news well.
I welcome any opportunity to learn more. But I think I must pass that question to my fellows as they see things from a different perspective than I do. And I'm going to step one step slightly to the side and turn my body to drag the others into this conversation.
Drausken will kind of jerkily at first, but then with increasing purpose make his way up towards Loraphyra before dropping mechanically, if not respectfully, to a knee and bowing his head.
She nods to you and lifts a hand.
He moves back to a standing position, kind of looks up at her. I would see what fate befalls those left in our wake. I would see that you have the power to uphold your oath. Show me such things, and you will have my continued loyalty, as I promised you from the first.
Thine request is good, rational, and we shall make it so. Thou shalt see all. To where shall we go? The forests of Tempest? The dunes of Harakir? Perhaps you already miss the mansions of Akath. And there is still the dilapidated slum of Lamordia.
Which is the oldest? Which has been liberated for the longest time? Show me that.
As thou wishest. But ere we depart, wouldst thine other companion make known her mind?
Yi-Ling hobbles forward with the glaive and slowly lowers herself as well. I too wish to see what becomes of the souls taken, and to see if you can keep your promise. My wish is no different.
Then it is more easily granted. She waves a hand, and the environment around you begins to change.
But a little, but a little, but a little. Oh, hey.
Diddly-doo, diddly-doo.
I know this map.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
She still stands before you as she was before. But once again, you stand within Tempest. It is different, though. It remains enshrouded in mist. But it isn't mist exactly. It is shadow. The sky above you is dark. There is a cacophony of distant storm. Compared to the fortress of memories, this place is peaceful. But there is no doubt in your mind. You remain within the Shadowfell. As you look out, you see humanoid figures moving to and fro, doing this and that, performing every manner of task as needed. They are elves. They are Shadar Kai. And this is their home.
There any sign of any of the people we met before?
Only what they left behind. So the people are gone. Art thou comforted?
Where are the other souls? Where did they go?
We have freed them. We have allowed them to pass at last.
Feed them. They're dead. Every soul that was here, dead.
There are few exceptions. You would have seen them in the Carnival, for they had never lived until their time.
The people born here, created when this place became a domain. Them, they're gone because they never lived.
I fear our speech remains limited. What we would say is they were like the souls within the iron coin. But there were some, whence thou came upon them, had first lived. Thus, their life is theirs to carry, though their home is gone.
So the people that were alive, the people that stumbled into these lands, they still live. They can have a life. They can move on.
Yes. And those native, but only having lived the first time. There was a child here, thou knowst.
Aye, she escaped back to the Carnival.
Her
She-
interactions with us brought her to true life.
Nay, 'twas mine intervention. For she was strange. Never in other cycles had lived. 'Twas her first.
What the souls from outside of these lands may have died in them. Can they be brought back to life?
To what end?
To live their lives as they would have been before they were stolen by these mists.
The circumstances round each are particular.
So your answer is maybe.
Not maybe, for we knowst. But to each is given a specific and proper fate.
Then my wish. Can you grant it? Will you grant it?
The Raven Queen remembers, but I don't remember.
Her parents. She wants her parents brought back to life.
Aye, we shall make it so. If thou will still desire this. But perhaps thou wilt consider the feelings of thine parents.
Perhaps when they are free, I will have the chance to ask them. But if you can grant my request, then I will continue to serve you.
Dost thou wish for thy parents' lives? Or for conversation?
Is it one or the other?
I present not a choice, but a query. We would know thine heart.
I would ideally speak to them before making my request.
We are the Queen of Death. It shall be so. Wouldst thou speak with them in thine home or in my domain?
I was under the impression they were trapped by the Dread Lord.
'Tis true. Very well. Thou must seekest thine parents within their domain. Therein, we shall make it possible to speak with them before the shroud frees them.
Thank you. And Yi-Ling bows as well as she is able to with her battered body.
I have a query for you.
Ask.
This Tempest, the Wild's domain. After we defeated the hag that ruled it and freed its people back to your grasp, what was the Wild's wish? Did he get it? Why is he no longer with us?
His desires are more pure, simplistic. I granted them. He asked, and I released him from his service, giving to him his desires. I made his memory for thou to speak with him.
And if Lynn decides that she also wishes to be free, do we find ourselves down another comrade? If Yi-Ling decides to join her parents in death rather than to free them from it, are we down another comrade? I need to know what I'm getting into.
Thou mayest ask them.
What
We'll
I
see
want
this
to
through.
know is, when are their wishes granted? You said you granted the Wilds. Will you grant Lynn hers now? Will you grant Yi-Ling hers upon the completion of Morben, whatever the place you're from is?
Mordant.
That one.
Again, I say unto thee, ask of them. For it is not for us to choose. Service freely given is well given.
That fails to answer my question. I don't need to know what their wish is. I need to know when you'll grant it.
She gestures to them.
Drausken, I will see this through till all of us are satisfied. I will not abandon you.
Still not what I'm asking.
Then allow me to answer. Because I wished, at least at first, to know true rest and sleep everlasting. To be free of this nightmare and to dream once more. But matters have changed. If I were to depart from you and to dream into the hereafter, who would carry the memory of my city, my people? Who would cherish them and care for them? At present, I do not have a wish. Perhaps in some time I will ruminate upon it, but that is the truth of things.
Well, wonderful. Then the one person that has the power to answer my question opts not to. Understood.
It is my understanding from this conversation.
Muted.
What?
Nope.
No, I'm not.
Now I hear you. Did anyone else not hear her at first? Was it
No,
just
I
me?
didn't hear anything.
Did Ren say something? Did
I
not hear
may
it,
have
no.
just been too quiet.
All right.
It is my understanding from this conversation that once a person's domain is released, that they may have their wish granted at that time. The wild wished to be free, and he got that. And it is to our loss. But that was his choice to make. Lynn originally wished for the same, and has changed her mind. That is also her choice. Yi-Ling is getting hers, it will be receiving hers a little early, as she will be able to speak with her parents once we are in Mordant. And then make a decision.
Well, once they are free. But even if they choose to stay at rest, I am interested in living.
Living is good. I recommend it.
All things end. At the end of the day, no matter how long your life is, the only truth is that it will one day end.
No one's questioning that.
Are you not? Are you not
No.
looking about this realm and saying these people were all killed before their time?
No.
Then I don't understand why you are so angry.
I don't give a rat's ass about these people. I care about my people. And I need to know what's going to happen to them when I perform my service.
They will die. At long last. Unless they have not yet lived.
My people lived a very long time, fighting and serving and working, until we got thrown into that hellhole that's called Falkovnia. And the only thing I care about is setting them free so that they can actually live life. Now either you can do that for me, in which case I will upend hell itself to complete my mission, or you can't, in which case we're going to have more than strong words.
Is that thy wish?
It is, and was, since your voice was nothing but the cawing of ravens.
Then it shall be so.
And if it is, I will fight for you until every breath has left my body, until every bone is ground to dust. I will be unto you an unflagging warrior, if you keep up your end. That is a promise. And a threat.
Once again, we regret our inaptitude for speech. Perhaps when more memories have been restored to us, we shall speak more clearly.
Then I shall do what I can to return them to you. Simple as that.
Wouldst thou see more of this place? Perhaps another? Or shall we return? My priestess.
I have seen now the faces of your other servants before your fortress. I am curious as to the realms that they have been in.
As thou wishest. This is Lamordia. This is where the common slept, scrounged, were taken to be experimented upon. We will remove these buildings remove the acrid air, cleanse the waters. We will restore it till it is a proper home for our people. The people of Lamordia are dead.
What manner of experiments?
Many forms, magics, and sciences wrought upon the body to transfer brain matter, to add muscle and flesh, to create undying servitude. Life for the sake of the powerful. Unpermitted death. A coin would have been a refuge. The doctor that lived there in the tower, an academy, the castle, torn apart at long last, after learning that she was but a fool.
It seems a grim commonality in each of these domains that those living are made to serve as stock. Whether in servitude, whether in sacrifice.
Well, I am glad that this abomination is ended and removed. I am certain the memories in those buildings are overwhelming. Ooh.
Behold, the great caravanserai of Hardakir. Far off across the wasted dunes lies the city of the dead, as it was called, while a rotted emperor lied deep under the sands. At long last, he learned that his destiny was to be but a servant.
It is oddly beautiful.
Climate reminds me of Kalimshan. I could think of worse places to live.
each and every one of these lords thus far, they have chosen to flee from you, to escape from death in whatever manner suited them. If not their own, then to deny the death of those they treasured.
The Emperor Octopot, as he was called, has passed as any mortal through my grasp, and is now naught but memory. What remains are his wrappings, which now clothe mine agent.
Is there more you would show us, my lady? I apologize, Lynn. I did not mean to overspeak you.
No, it's okay.
There is, of course, a Cath.
I can only speak for myself, but for myself, that is some time before I wish to see that land again.
I agree, but if Lynn wants to go,
Indeed.
I will go as well.
One must wonder how quickly your kind move in. It has only been, well, by my reckoning, less than an hour since the fall of the Empress. Is it already populated? Or are they slowly making their way there?
Time
To occupy may be a swift thing, but to build takes much time.
The land seemed quite well built. Well, that we didn't level. Gardens, houses, canals, leading to large open marketplaces. With all the people gone, the oars rush in to fill the gap, like water from a broken dam.
We are more sensitive to memories than I think most other races. Certainly those buildings stand, but the bricks are mortared with the pain of what the Empress caused. Every wall
The roads
screams.
and the walls, the roads and the walls of Yakath and even its buildings have been torn down and rebuilt countless times at the Empress's whim. I would very much see this place put in the hands of those who might cherish their home. Those who might give their homes and their walls and their roads time.
So to answer your question then, Drausken, Barovia was the first, and it is still very much in the process of being rebuilt.
It does make me think of another question. A messenger was sent to you, my lady, asking to provides solace for a soul in a cath. Was that sanctuary provided? Does
Help me out
Shin-
here. I don't remember.
That was
Does Shin the
Loraphyra.
Golden Dragon reside in your realm, or was he banished like so many others? No judgment, just a query.
No judgment. Okay.
Drausken judges everyone.
Wearing a
He's
mask,
got
so
resting
you can't
judge
see her
face.
raise an eyebrow. But
Press X to doubt.
Resting judge face might be the best description of Drausken.
Shin chose. The rest was his business.
Was that an answer?
I mean, I think it's an answer, but, you know,
It's a.
if you
it-
need everything explicitly thought out, this ain't the lady.
in
Loraphyra,
short,
Drausken.
Able to derive from clues, I think it's pretty clear.
Loraphyra, Drausken. When we encroached upon the Empress in her chamber, you two had a mercenary in your employ.
I was planning to ask about her next. Especially since Loraphyra's last girlfriend seems to have left us. No judgment.
I do not bother with such entanglements. But your word is your choice, and I will not quibble with it.
Sometimes you seem almost ready to smile, and then you have to put that mask back on.
One day we will speak of masks, Drausken. Stories and layers.
And liars and friends.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Sure, why not? I suppose there'll be more time to speak of this anon. In the meantime, what else do you have to show us? More tales? More stories? I
Return.
was rather hoping that a golden dragon would be following us around now, but what can you do?
Lynn, did you want to return? Sorry, is that loud enough?
It-
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
It makes little difference.
No, do not make your choice dependent on us.
Alas, we grow weary. Speech and movement must be regained. I have more to show thee, but to understand, to more efficiently carry out thy task, I will give unto thee more of my power, the power to see memory, to feel through objects to whom they were important. The secrets of the Dreadlords will be revealed through these mementos. I grant unto thee my dark empathy. Come, I have treasures for thee to exercise thine gift. And here I shall remain. And that's probably a good spot to take a break.
I agree. All right, folks, we'll be back very shortly. Hang out, and we'll see what exactly the Raven Queen has in store for us. See you all very soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Death. Yeah, we're returning and ready to dive right back into this thing. And Adam made a threat as we were coming back into this, so we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Good to be with you. This is your daily or weekly feel-good campaign. Hope the exposition dump hasn't been too egregious, but our players, well, they like information, and they like to know where everything stands before they make a decision about anything. And so, yes, the queen of implicit communication has been met with the crew of explicit information, and this is where it has landed. And now let's play a card game, sort of.
Yeah, this was the threat. We're back to this.
But it's not matching. It's not matching.
Session 0.
We learned our lesson.
Did we?
Well, hopefully Adam learned his lesson.
There we go.
I learned a valuable lesson that night. I did.
45 minutes of memory, which we were all bad at. Well, not all. Tanya got what she wanted.
I learned very well how to take the wind out of my own sails at the beginning of my own campaign.
I was trying to play the game I was presented with. Excuse all of you.
In fairness, that was a lot of it was Adam's fault for having only one of some items. It's like, come on. That's rude. I will endlessly call you out for that one.
Yeah, but do you see it's the same issue, right? Sometimes I'm trying to say this other thing without explicitly saying it, and then you guys are like, but you said it was the thing. So it can't not be the thing. Yeah. So I'm trying.
Sorry, not sorry.
You met us. I make no apologies. You knew who you were asking to play.
That's true. But in this exercise, the Raven Queen has given you what she calls the gift of dark empathy, and it enables you to feel memories through items. And she has presented you with some items from her personal trove, but each of them is obscured, covered, and you can choose an item based on how it feels to you. So, who would like to go first?
I think Loraphyra should cash in her employee discount and take the first item.
That
Princess rights.
that works on like 3 levels. How dare you? Amazing. Okay. Yes, Loraphyra will pause for a second to see if the others are itching to go and grab something. And then gets the impression that they're waiting on her, and she'll kind of sigh a little bit internally and step forward and like extend a hand out over these items to get a sense for what they are.
Okay, so please choose a card.
Am I able to? I can't click on them, but I'm gonna ping the one
you
that I'm
can ping
looking
it.
at. Yeah.
Okay. This one feels kind of creepy, which doesn't narrow it down a lot, but it also has a strong feeling of magic and of secret.
Ooh. I do love secrets. Is there a limit to how many items I'm allowed to feel out, or is it just
1 for now,
Ah,
until we move on to the next person's turn, which is going to be Drausken, because that's the order in which I see your cameras.
deal.
All right. Well, nothing says a soldier's life better than front and center.
Soldier's life indeed. This one feels familiar. It feels like indignation. It feels practical and sure. Now the question is, do you pick it up or do you wait?
Indignant, practical, and sure. Why not? We'll go ahead and grab it.
I was gonna say that's basically just Drausken.
As I was saying those words, I was like, oh, nope, these are going to strike a chord.
Though, in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, next to dying on the battlefield, death by indignation is like the top killer of generals in that thing. Let me tell you what. Like, so-and-so lost the battle, returned to his tent, and died of indignation.
Ooh.
It is a black iron sword.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, before you decide, you can see it. You can tell what it is. It is a long sword. But we'll come back to you. Yi-Ling.
And at that one at first, but then I was feeling that one.
Which one? Ping again?
Sorry, I'm using purple, which is close to the upper left.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. This one fills you with fear, grim darkness, inevitable doom, endless wastes, vicious power.
Don't like that. No me gusta.
Would you
Yi-Ling will be
like to reveal it?
No, Yi-Ling will touch it, then pull back really quickly.
Absolutely not.
Just like, nope, 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 nope.
I've had enough of endless fear for a while.
Valid.
All right. Lynn.
Yep. It is, as one of the Empress's custodians, it is not. It is as well within her ability and her duty at times to peer into the dreams and memories of others. So let's just take this first card and see what we can glean.
Again, endless dark, grim, hopeless, endless, waste, incredible power. Do you wish to move the card aside?
I don't know if that's a story I want to carry with me.
That's a good answer.
Okay. Then we will come back to Loraphyra.
I'm gonna check this one.
Inviting, fragrant, splendid, ideal, joy.
Kind of look at that like, I don't know what to do with that.
Is this in the right place, guys?
Like,
That's not the vibe.
I will point
This
that
ain't
one.
it, Chief.
Not the first one. I should have just said that.
I will point that out to Lynn, though, and describe how it feels to me, and say this might be one that you wish to look at a little more closely. And I will pass my turn.
Drausken, you have an option. You could explore another card, or you could grasp the hilt and drink in all of its memories and claim it for yourself.
I won't shy away from the hard times. What do you have for me?
So you grasp the handle.
He does.
You made the right choice. This item might basically made for you.
Is this to make up for the cursed shield?
You'll figure it out.
The cursed shield has been getting mileage.
Don't get me wrong. The cursed shield is doing work.
Undeath is an affront to life, yes, no one denies this, but few realize that it offends death. It offends me. The only way one can kill without even an inkling of guilt is to slay the undead. Surely such an act is inherently good. Oh no, this is good.
Drausken's gonna have so many swords by the time we finish.
Oh, you should have seen my command tent back in the day.
Just rows and rows and rows of swords.
Gods, a blade for every occasion. Rarely used the damn things, but they were fine, pretty pieces.
That Raven's Blessing is very good. You can cast True Strike on yourself as a bonus action a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus. And if you kill an undead with this sword, you regain one use of this ability. I see you, Adam.
Oh, yeah. We'll get along, you and I.
Right. Well, that's all I really needed from this. Okay.
Roll credits.
Watching Drausken be weirdly sword sexual.
You know what? Every pot has a lid.
Not in my kitchen, I don't.
And every sword has a scabbard. Hey, look, Tanya picked up an implication. Well
I
done.
can pick up implications, especially if they're of the sexual nature.
Which is
Oh,
hilarious
you have
for
advantage
you.
when they're of sexual nature.
Look, I read too much fan fiction to not be able to.
Valid. Cheers
That's
to
an
that.
acquired skill.
I have
Truly.
trained for years for this moment.
The tropes are heavy.
All right, let's move on to Yi-Ling.
Right, she's gonna take a gander at how the upper right card feels.
Hidden knowledge. Forbidden secrets. That which should not be known. Invasion. Manipulation.
Very interesting to those last two. The thoughtful look comes over her face. That one may be worth exploring, but I shall leave it for now.
Lynn.
When we were ascending the tower within the dream, I sat and spoke with another of the lady's custodians. We regaled over the memories, the taste, the texture of those that we are tasked to consume. And we both agreed that so rarely does one ever experience the taste of joy. It is a tale I wish to take with me.
As you reach for the item, indeed, you feel joy. You feel calm, serenity, peace. It's not exactly to your taste, but it is undeniably pleasant. And appropriately, you reveal a flower.
Well,
Not to her it's a flower.
Well, it'll become more clear. All right. Let's go back to Loraphyra.
All right. There's only two we haven't explored yet. I will have a look at this one.
As you brush your hand past it, you feel secure, fastened. The fear of death begins to escape you. It feels weighty, cold.
My hand definitely hesitates over that. I'll reveal that one.
You see a fine suit of plate armor.
That gets a little bit of a chuckle from her as she glances at Drausken. Well, that is not something I can make use of.
Don't look at me. It's far too heavy for my frame.
So, Drausken.
So,
What's up?
Would you like to explore further or continue admiring your sword?
are we keeping at it?
If you wish to. You do not have to do anything you don't want.
This one's the only one we haven't explored yet.
Well, I'm not looking to give up this blade just yet. But if you want me to practice my skills at sensing your empathy, as it were, I suppose I can give it another go.
Cold, heavy, warm, clean, shining.
Hmm. Interesting. A strange dichotomy. Though perhaps like a well-tended anvil.
Yi-Ling,
Her curiosity has gotten the better of her. She's gonna reveal this one.
as you touch it, and start to grasp and move the cover, your heart begins to pound in your chest, as if you know you're doing something incredibly naughty and are about to be caught. To see it is to sin. It's a mask. You hear, let's call them dissonant whispers in your mind.
Hmm.
All right, we'll come back. Lynn.
Scary mask. Scary mask.
It's a scary mask.
So we had darkness and hopelessness. We
Mm-hmm.
had cold but luminous and warm
Yes. And shining.
and shiny. And we had
Now, that's not to say that what you feel won't be a little different.
interesting.
What I felt from that was creepy magic secrets. But what your mileage may vary.
She too had a dream of radiance, a dream of gold. It was not without its shadows. I'd like to reveal this card.
It is a coin. But it's unlike any gold coin you've seen. As you examine it further, it feels as if it has lost something. Something that it should have. And it has gained something else. Something pure and beautiful. Humility.
Interesting.
Loraphyra.
I'm going to come back around to where I started because the creepy secrets is intriguing to me.
As you lay your hand upon the cover, you begin to feel a burning sensation within your chest. You are emboldened by the flame of ambition. Little Easter egg for people out there. If you know, you know. Do you wish to uncover it?
Yes.
It is a robe.
Zoom in, enhance.
It's our buddy.
It's the
Our
same
buddy.
kind of robe you saw on the Nagpa.
Well, connections.
That's interesting. Does it look gross? Because creepy I can handle, but gross is a different matter altogether.
Prestidigitating all over it.
It is definitely well, it's tattered. It's been corrupted in some way. There's an ickiness about it. But the aesthetic of it is strangely Shidarkai.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the black feathers. You got like the gold embroidery.
I'm hearing Chris of updating my character art as we speak. I will take it up and hold it in my hands, turning it this way and that.
It reaches out to you. It speaks its secrets to your mind if you accept them.
I do. Nagpa's robe. Interesting.
You want to read that for the audience?
My scream echoed through the Shadowfell, my first act as a divine being. It was a mistake filled with untold consequences. Not just for those wizards who betrayed me, but for all of us. It is a wondrous item, very rare, requires attunement. It has magical runes. You gain +2 to all saving throws against spells and +1 to armor class. Curse Weave. When you succeed on a saving throw against a spell, you can use your reaction to cast Bestow Curse on the caster without concentration. Creatures cursed in this way have disadvantage on saving throws against spells already afflicting them. Fascinating.
Hot damn.
Oh. I'm not going to say this was made for me, but it's not far off from being made for me. So
It's very good for a controller.
Yeah. Especially because I just took Warcaster as my level up feat.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the Loraphyra holds this in her hands, feeling its secrets, feeling the energy of the elven wizards who had stood with her queen before the incident, before all of this, and smiles a little bit at this continuation of the memories, the continuation of her people, and tosses it over her shoulders, very much like a raven preening its feathers.
It suits you. All right. Yi-Ling, you see the items before you, and there is one yet uncovered.
Very yucky. I think she's not going to take it, but Yi-Ling wants to reach out and see what feeling she gets from the rose.
Sweetness. Light. Meadows. Forest. Morning dew. A cool breeze, warm air. Fresh air. Open skies.
She'll look at Lynn. What do you think? Is anything called to you?
The sweet fragrance tempts me, as does the beauty of all flowers. It is in my nature to see to the things that need tending. But all the same, memories, like flowers, also require tending. For those that have passed, elsewise they will wither to nothingness. I must keep and remember that which is past. Memory of a golden city and a dream. She's gesturing to the coin. Although it's not my turn to take an item yet, so.
I'll pass on taking one still.
Mm.
Why don't we see what Oblivion looks like?
I am
no.
terrified. I am terrified of whatever is under there, frankly.
We're-
Like
Here we
all
go.
of the descriptions are just horrifying.
Watch is like the nicest, sweetest thing, like better than the rose somehow.
If people are avoiding it, Drausken will just walk over it and put his hand over it.
You can. I skipped you because I didn't think you would be interested, but if you want to, you too feel the endless death, waste. Honestly, it feels a bit like home, but not as confined. It is the cold dark, but it is also steel.
Feels like the boneyard. Have you ever wondered how many people you've consigned there? Probably not.
Do you reveal it?
Sure.
Show me the face of Oblivion.
Justin's
A scythe. Oh.
How quaint. So many people. They see the scythe and they think of the Reaper. Their idea of death coming as a black-robed man. People more familiar with it know it's usually someone bearing a different kind of steel.
There now are all the items laid out before you. By the way, just FYI, this doesn't mean anything. But the scythe, there's no scythe in 5th edition, by definition, or by default. So it technically counts as a glaive.
Want me to pick the endless waste?
You definitely
Horror
don't have to
show?
pick the endless ways death thing.
Yi-Ling was literally looking at while Drausken described this black robe figure of death. She's like, I've never heard of that. That's a fucking farm tool.
What can the harvest hope for if not the care of the Reaper Man?
But she did not like the way it felt. She's not very wise, but
Yeah, we know. We've talked about this.
yeah.
Out of curiosity,
But even that's a yes.
how fond do you think the people you killed were of your glaive? A tool of death is a tool of death. Don't put too much thought into it.
You speak as if I've killed many, many people with my glaive before being in the service of the Raven Queen. That was not the case.
No, perhaps not. But now you have, and there are more ahead of you. I'm not telling you to take the glaive. I'm just saying, don't get sentimental about it. It's a weapon.
I've often wondered, you speak of your home in terms of peace, in terms of merriment. Why are you trained in the use of a war weapon?
Well, don't know about merriment necessarily, but you spoke earlier of the other places we visited as where the living were made to be sacrifices for the dead or be enslaved to them. You will find more than different. It is there that the living just live, but the dead are the ones that are trapped, never able to move on, never able to be free from never-ending existence.
That sounds like my worst nightmare.
Oh, we just got
Well,
back from a Kath.
I imagine for many it probably is. The thing is, they don't know any other way there. The living just expect to die and then stick around to haunt the relatives, make mischief if they become strong enough. But as you may have surmised, my parents were not from the Mistlands, as they called them. They were from outside. They expected different things when they passed on. To answer your question, Lynn, both of my parents came from tribes, warrior tribes, and I learned from them to be a warrior. It was not much needed in Mordant, though some of the nobles did hire bodyguards when they traveled, or just house guards, which my father was for a time. But neither of them would have stood by while I didn't learn the ways of their people.
I see. It is not a weapon of war in your hands. It is your memories.
I had not thought of it that way, but that is not wrong. I was trained in its use and did not use it as a weapon for a very long time, not till, well, the journey that led to my death. So,
But to continue practice of your weapon is to keep its tradition alive, to cherish it, and to nurture it.
yes. It would probably take too long to explain, but my father never would have named me as the Revenant, so perhaps I'm his now.
I'm sorry, he named you what? Wait, hold on. That seemed like what?
Pardon?
A Revenant, it's an ancestor spirit, sort of. Like I said, hard to explain. My father's people had certain beliefs about our ancestors living on through us. I don't know if that word means something different where you are from.
Very
Apologies.
much so.
No, I was just being sentimental. I didn't think it was literal.
Well, don't know what you mean, but yes, that is what. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll explain a little bit. My father was what was known as a keeper. I'm sorry, I'm scrolling to the backstory. Hold on.
Backstory.
Dad, bye.
Also, Adam, please wave your hand at your light thing.
There it is. Okay.
Fuck the darkness.
I know you like the darkness, but the camera doesn't.
Yes, okay, there it is. He was what's known as a keeper of the past. And among his people, the elves of Valinar, one of his duties was to go around, and when elves became of age, they basically a keeper would find out who their ancestor was, a champion of the past of their people, and would name who that person was. And part of being a Ternadal elf was that your ancestor lives through you, so you would do your best to live as they lived. I mean, it's more nuanced than that, but that is what I recall.
That is a fascinating way to look at the cycles that Coralon has imposed upon us.
I don't know who that is.
God of
Not
the
sure.
elves, a right bastard.
Don't know he was the god of my father's people.
Oh no, he's the god of elves, whether they like it or not.
He never once mentioned this Coralon person, so. But, yeah, anyway, that's it. I will not be taking that side. I think if no one objects, she'll reach down and pick up the rose.
Ooh.
Was
Go
but a
ahead.
glimpse. Oh,
No, yeah, I was about to say, please go ahead and read it. And then you started doing it.
sorry. 'Twas but a glimpse. I saw the way opened before me, carved through the Feywild to our home, the land of the whimsical Eladrin. Coralon's Arvendor, nestled within Arborea. So many fantasy names. Then the way shattered like glass, barring our path. I turned, seeing my mages siphoning and stealing power freely given me by my people. This flower can be consumed as a bonus action to cleanse all poisons and diseases and grant 20 temporary hit points.
Oh, I have a nasty feeling
Oh,
about
it's
what
called
that
an-
means.
Oh, this is supposed to be a poppy. Arborean poppy. Okay, well, I thought it was a rose.
The picture is
means
a rose,
we're-
it doesn't matter.
It means we're headed to the obligatory Soul's Poison Swamp.
Well, land of... Well, not... Bees
We're
won't
going to
fuck over
Carnival.
you. Cool.
When you pick up the poppy, you notice that there is a second one in its place.
What?
There's a second poppy.
I just have two?
Picking them up.
Yeah.
If you want them both.
It's a dupe glitch. Just keep going.
Takes the second one.
You throw it on the ground in town, then you disconnect, and then you reconnect.
left, right, A, B,
And then
Y.
you reload the save from your floppy disk.
And don't forget to clip through the edge of the world.
Place the bucket over the shopkeeper's head.
Double jump 3 times.
No clip into the back rooms. We can keep going.
Grabs the second poppy.
You have to. There's not a third.
Okay. having effectively 40 temporary hit points on your person is not a bad thing for you.
Nope, glass cannon. If I can hit.
Mm-hmm.
Feels.
There is but one item choice remaining. That is, unless you guys decide to pick up a second one. But
well,
Yi-Ling already
I have
has
not-
two.
I haven't gotten my descriptor yet, so as I guess stated, a dream of gleaming gold, however misled, must be remembered, that we may know what transpired and what once was. I take the coin.
A worthless soul coin. These things disgust me. To appease the greed and vanity of devils, these coins hold within them mortal souls. When I find one, I purify the metal, turning it to gold, and releasing the spirit within. To trap a life within a phylactery, a coin, or even in life, is an unfathomable nightmare. While worthless to devils, this coin is worth quite a lot to other outsiders who would be willing to trade something truly rare for it.
You have in your hand a literal bargaining chip.
Gonna say the item made to look like currency, stripped of its value as currency, is now useful as currency.
To people other than devils, yes. I mean, it's not like we haven't heard about an archfey who's about.
Yeah, there's a demon prince too, if we want to just talk about all the outsiders on our tail.
Yeah, it's not useful to devils. I wonder if it's useful to demons.
All right. Well, each of you has grabbed an item. In Yi-Ling's case, 2 items.
Seemed like they were just, the other one was just hidden underneath. That was all.
She found
Clearly
the
it was meant to
glitch.
stew the whole time. Obviously.
Now,
Clearly.
you may take the other items if you wish, but if they frighten you or you find them useless, you can leave them where they lie. Or you can absorb their memories and then allow them to lie there.
Oh, I forgot about that memory absorption.
I am very curious about the mask, so I'm going to go over and pick that up, holding it in both hands. He seeks my dead, not to carry them along their way, not to honor who they were, but to use their bodies for war and their memories for secrets. He seeks all that I have, but it is I who have learned the secrets to undoing his realm. My wisdom is greater than his cunning. This is a Vecnian mask.
I like that last line.
That's pretty excellent. Wondrous item, rare, requires attunement, allows you to cast Detect Thoughts a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus without any components except this mask. While you are detecting a creature's thoughts, you gain advantage on charisma checks against that creature and may use intelligence instead of charisma. In addition, you discover that creature's hidden weakness, increasing your critical range against that creature by 1.
Wouldn't have been for Yi-Ling for many reasons. Her wisdom is not greater than anyone's cunning.
And now you know that the Raven Queen has yet another
Fucking
enemy.
Vecna!
Another.
all her enemies.
We've got Orcust, we've got the Archfey, whose name starts with a Z, whose name I can't remember. We've
Zabelna.
got... Thank you, Zabelna. We've got Shar, and now we've got fucking Vecna.
Only in a matter of time before old Bones showed himself.
Fair.
A fae, a god.
And a lich.
And a
Another
lich!
god. And a lich.
Unless she was also a god.
Yeah,
Yes.
Vecna's interesting. Thank you, Mouse. Thank you for actually working for me.
We just need a celestial, we need an elder thing enemy.
Now, do you wish to take the Vecnian mask, or do you wish to return it to the Trove?
I think I'm thinking its memory is better served elsewhere.
I agree. I don't think that it's interesting, and with the headband of intellect, that's very helpful. But also, I am out of attunement slots. Fresh out there. I am getting more and more frustrated with 5e saying you can only have 3 things attuned.
Unless you're an artificer.
Well, yes, but I'm not. And that was because 5e looked at it and went, "Oh, well, if your whole thing is making magic items."
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I will return it to the Trove.
And yet they still can't do much.
Funny how that works.
Okay. Well,
Just curious about the memory and the armor. She doesn't wear armor, but she's curious. Or do I wear armor? I can't remember. I don't think so.
no.
Not as a monk.
Yeah, that's right. But she just wants to know what it's about.
Brazen bulwark.
There's but one true obstacle to my aims, something I can annoy but have yet to devise how to destroy. Perhaps my agents will discover a way to kill the omnipotent darkness. May this shell protect my champion in their hour of need. Plate mail armor, +1 armor class. Death Guard. You can gain resistance to necrotic damage and are immune to effects which reduce ability scores or hit point maximums. You're also immune to critical hits dealt by the undead. Kanza holds it out to Drausken. Oh, I don't. Seems like this might be good for you.
In my younger days, I probably could have worn something like that. But I have no desire to strap 60 pounds of metal to my already failing body. Thank you, but pass.
Well, back to the Trove.
You lay it
Well,
back down into the Trove where it awaits another.
We would be remiss not to see what story this gardening tool's holding for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You pick up the scythe.
Tell me a story.
Are you sure?
But a strange thing that our gardener has chosen not to take the scythe nor the poppy. And yet, the choice is yours.
Okay. Here
What
we
have
go.
I to fear from oblivion when the alternative before all this began was eternal servitude?
Damn, that's a good point. All right, here you go.
Ooh.
Nera. In all the darkness of Pluton, her soul shone brighter than any other. I formed myself from the countless dead and reached out to her light. She did not recall her name, so I gave her a new one, and taught her how to harness power from the dead. Nera is a +3 glaive, requires attunement.
Shit.
As a spellblade, holding the scythe grants proficiency and its attack and damage to the determined by your spellcasting modifier instead of strength. It also counts as a spellcasting focus. Soulbound. As an action, you can summon the scythe to your hand from anywhere in the same plane of existence. If it is within 120 feet, you can summon it as a bonus action instead. This scythe can make spell attacks at a range of 60 feet, dealing 1d10 plus your spellcasting modifier in necrotic damage. Damage dealt in this way causes an enemy to become chilled until the start of your next turn. Soul Harvester. When you kill a creature while wielding the scythe, you absorb the creature's soul. As an action, you can spend any number of souls stored within the scythe, restoring 1 spell level per soul expended.
Adam, I have one question. Which Dark Souls boss is this based on?
This is one of the items where we take the two conflicting origin stories of the Raven Queen, and we try to create an arch to connect them. The name is relevant to those who know, but it's not a Dark Souls reference. It is a Dungeons and Dragons, specifically Greyhawk reference.
Yep.
I saw Pluton. I'm like, I know that name. I don't know the name of Nereva. But plus
However-
3 glaive.
Plus 3
Well,
glaive!
If it was a reference to Dark Souls, it would be Gravelord Nito.
There you go.
It could also be Sister Frida.
So
Now I'm looking at the site, and I'm looking at the coin, and I'm realizing I'm not much of a merchant.
Could have both. We are not forbidden from having 2 things.
you can have them both, yeah. But
Teach you how to use it.
but yeah.
Coins are often an offering to the dead. I will lay down the coin.
You taking up the scythe?
It grants proficiency to whoever holding it. Actually, I gotta double check my achievements. Hang on.
And its attack and damage are determined with your spellcasting modifier instead of strength, which makes me kind of side-eye it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Ash.
Yeah, but why would a grave cleric of the Raven Queen use a scythe? I mean,
Look.
Rude.
I also want to point out, I don't know if you caught this little detail, but all of the other items are written from the perspective of the Raven Queen. This one is not.
Oh.
This is written from the perspective of whoever helped create the Raven Queen.
Hmm.
I have an attunement slot open.
Take it.
Go for it.
Do you want a legendary weapon?
A legendary weapon now, or the promise of a legendary item later?
A rare item later.
Dude, take it. If you don't, Loraphyra is.
Let's get gardening.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to go beautifully with your hat.
So we're gonna be off most of the month of April as things stand right now. Chris, I think we're gonna have to ask you to update some art.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention, funny thing about that, with the Empress gone, her magic no longer holds sway over Lynn. She doesn't need to wear the hat anymore.
Ooh.
Bit of
I can
character
finally-
development
Hey.
via design.
I can finally properly braid her hair.
Leave +3.
+3 glaive. My God in heaven. That's absurd.
Your god in Arborea. Because that's where he lives.
Fuck that guy.
Well, really more he, they, but still.
Fuck that lady.
That gentle them.
Look, being trans or non-binary does not keep you from being an ass.
Corellin
I should
Lorethian.
know.
At least I'm not Lolth.
That's not a high bar to clear.
We're a thing, so whatever.
I think it's mostly because I hang around like the circle of people that I do, but I cannot stand Corellon.
Oh, well, now I gotta put him in this game. I wasn't even
Right.
thinking about doing it. Now I'm like...
Another enemy.
Well, he is on the list, though.
I mean, it makes sense.
We are assembling one hell of a list.
Yes.
I mean, everyone's trying for the Shadowfell. It's a prime location
prime
to
real
grab.
estate.
And this
This
campaign,
bad
we're
boy can
fighting
hold
all
so
the
many
gods.
souls.
I'll give you that the Raven Queen has a prime portfolio, but I'm not sure that the Shadowfell is the real estate jackpot we're looking for.
Depends on who has it.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
boy.
basically England. I mean, I don't see
Amazing.
it's fog and stuff.
Fog and stuff. Fog, war, colonialism, imperialism.
Like,
Its food's terrible. It's England.
Barely functional figurehead royalty.
ancient
So true,
figurehead
actually.
royalty. All right. Well, I think we've collected all the items that we're going to.
Yes. But hopefully you've also gained some interesting insights. And now what lies before you is a choice of where to go next. You could try to make your way back into the carnival to liberate it from Shar. Of course, there's also a Dreadlord there. If you wish, you can not fall directly into Shar's trap and instead go to one of your domains. Or you can do something that I'm not prepared for, but could be given a week of time.
Fortunately, we have a week of time to give you. Loraphyra has lived in this area for some time. Is there some like side area that we can go to sit and rest and deliberate?
Oh yes, you have quite a lot of realm for that.
I figured she'll lead the way to whatever little apartment or equivalent she has been staying in prior to this mission beginning.
Okay, I have not thought to create something like that.
Don't need to. Honestly,
there you go.
we're going to be on the roleplay screen. It kind of doesn't matter because it's roleplay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We have some space and time to discuss what we wish to do next and rest in a safe place and heal. So it is not much, but very much so. It is not much, but this is where I lived until this mission began.
Of Darkon, or whichever that place was.
Darkon was where I was born in the Shadowfell itself, proper.
You are Shadarkai. That does seem to be the way of things.
Indeed. When I was quite young, I was chosen as a cleric of the Raven Queen. And when I was a little older, I fell through the mist and found myself in Darkon, trapped there. My queen was not strong enough to pull me out of there, so I remained and tried to find my way back through the Shroud, understand what the Shroud even was. And then I found out what my mentor was doing and was drowned for my troubles.
What was he doing?
She.
Sorry.
Did you just assume her gender?
I assumed the mentor's gender is all of my mentors have been.
Well, when you're talking about a murderer, I mean, statistically speaking, males kind of dominate there.
No.
unfortunately.
The killers who are caught are primarily male.
Look, Yi-Ling had her father and then Drausken in her mind.
That is
her
an
men.
important distinction. You ever seen a Tauren rogue? Exactly.
Cardina was my mentor She sought to understand more of the ways of the Shroud. At the springs, there is a group of people who study and seek to understand. And Cardina believed that Darkon needed its heart. Its first Dreadlord returned. So she was bringing him back to life. Darkulus Rex.
I could see that being cause for alarm.
Very much so. I am not sure if she succeeded in catching Darkulus himself. But there was something in those springs that she brought in.
You had mentioned that Darkon is something of an aberration, that it has more than one Dark Lord or something to that effect.
Something to that effect. There is something of a power struggle to determine what the heart and soul of Darkon truly is. Cardina
no good
believed.
answers.
None. Cardina believed that it was the one who originally originated it. And perhaps she has a point. Domain is built and centered around the person that it originally started from, like the piece of grit that gets into an oyster to create a pearl. She truly believed that Darkulus was the heart of the domain, and that was how to bring some measure of peace to it. I disagreed, rather vehemently. And she was stronger than I.
Before or after Barovia was freed.
Before.
So there was not no plan to bring him back to kill him and then end everything.
Not to my knowledge. I think that she truly believed that him coming back would end the warring factions and bring a measure of stability back to Darkon. It is being torn apart by the Shroud, bit by bit.
What?
Then
Now what this is? Sorry. The Shroud?
I mean, you've seen it.
From afar, but you have not been in it.
No, you have seen it. You saw it in Tepes when we returned there, in Hadakir when we went there. That is the idea of the Shroud, the mist taken form.
But it wasn't tearing up Tepes, or...
Correct. So there was something wrong in Darkon specifically that turned the mist into the Shroud.
Oh.
it sounds like your mentor and your lady do not work in concert.
Not in the least.
Is she's still trying to do?
Honestly, I am unsure. When Cardina drowned me, the Raven Queen was able to catch my soul before whatever was in those springs was able to consume it. Caught it and brought it back to the fortress, where I was remade, as all of you were. And I have been there ever since, for over 100 years. I have no idea what Darkon is like now.
Fair enough, I suppose.
And what do you wish to see of Darkon?
I wish to see the struggle brought to an end. It is, as ever happens when great powers war, destroying the little people who live there.
Such is unfortunately the nature of war.
Yes, well, not all of us are soldiers. You are not of Falkovnia.
After a fashion.
Where did you come from originally?
Back before the mists found us, I lived in Faerun, which I suppose might mean something more to people that haven't lived in a dread domain their entire lives. It's a plane of a different sort, kind of a mixing of all the realms together. Better question for a scholar, I suppose, than an old man with his head in books, but I believe it's called Abertorl. Regardless, yes, I was a mercenary. I lived and fought in Faerun for most of my life. I suspect Falkovnia is a new dread domain. Because it was formed when we got there.
It was formed. Interesting. Are you then familiar with the Dread Lord or Lady that it is formed around? If you were there at its inception?
Quite so. I served the general for most of my life.
You served the person who became the Dreadlord.
Indeed I did.
Well, your insights
Commonality
will
I
be,
didn't think I would share.
your insights will, I think, be quite helpful.
Let us hope so. Unfortunately, as I have found, I do not know the general as well as I once did. If we find ourselves back in those lands, I'll make sure to apprise you of the details.
We will.
What?
It is one of the 3 options remaining. Mordant, Falkovnia, and Darkon.
You're saying that Falkovnia was once part of Faerun?
No, I don't believe so. You see, one day, one fine fuckery of a day, me and mine were busy sacking the capital of our greatest military victory. We were so proud, so driven, but as we sought to claim victory, a great thick mist swallowed up the sun and descended upon us. 3 days. 3 days we wandered around in that dark, gray cloud, finding each other, trying to piece together what happened. And then, as we finally brought our troops together, the mists parted and we found ourselves in a new land. A land that would come to be Falkovnia. To my understanding, before we got there, there was no Dreadlord. There was no domain. It was custom-made hell, just for us. And we played our parts quite well in making that realm our new home. And now, I will see my people freed of it, one way or another. But before I set foot in that place, before I do what the Raven Queen bids of me, I want to see her fulfill her oath of her power. If she can do that, for you, for Lynn, if she can show me that she has the ability to free my people from that hell, I'll march in there and lead you to victory.
Based on what she said and what you've said, your company had lives before, so that is very possible. That is why I asked for my parents as well. My mother is from Faerun, also stolen away by Miss.
Was she now? Where was she from?
She was from the north.
There's a lot of north.
She once described her land as just the lands of her people, but it was known by outsiders as the savage frontier. She was of the Uthgar peoples.
A people I've heard of, but never had the pleasure of crossing swords with. It's probably why I'm still here. No, most mercenary operations tend to stay clear of the far north. Not only is it unpalatable for long-term military operations, but, well, your mother's people aren't the only big things up there.
Told me some stories. She was much taller than me. I take after my father in many ways.
I believe it.
You have all spent some time discussing about your pasts and where you might go to, but the conversation leads to a moment of quiet, and you all realize a decision must be made.
Well,
Sorry. I was going to say in our journeys we have been gathering memories for the Raven Queen, as have the others that she has rescued. I feel like if we know, the more we know about Darkon, the better. And I don't know, but if she has more of her memories, maybe she could tell us more about the Shroud.
I agree. I believe that Mordant is a key to a great many things, but it is not a key that we can forge until we know more. And if Drausken would see a promise fulfilled before pledging himself heart and soul, it seems Mordant is where we must go to see Yi-Ling's wish fulfilled.
It will be better, I hope, than either Tempest or Ikath.
None of them are good.
Well,
They're just different variants of bad.
If they're
Be that as it
suffering,
may.
What?
if they're suffering in Mordant, we will soon learn of it.
well, it could be very different from what I remember. I cannot say.
What do you
We
know
already
of it?
know.
Sorry? You were
What-
both-
Go ahead.
Well, we already know about the spirits that seem trapped there, which apparently is a cycle that most domains share. However, it is a known fact to your people that souls don't move on. To you, that seems normal, but to us, that is most disturbing.
Well, yes, to the Mordentions, it's just a fact. You don't move on after life here. The hereafter is the same place. essentially. You no longer have a body, but your spirit remains. So most of those who are born in Mordant, everyone in their whole ancestral line is still hanging around somewhere. It's made my mother's skills very valuable. She was a member of the Ghost Street tribe and was trained to speak to spirits. So she, once her skills were learned of by the Mordentians, she had a service to offer that was highly sought after to settle family disputes, to just say last words, do a great many things.
I don't suppose you happened to have inherited this particular gift.
I could hear them if they were strong enough. If they were very powerful, I could see them without aid, but not. Perhaps it'll be different now that I have died and been one of them for a time. I don't know, but
Were you one of them for a time? How did the Raven Queen catch your soul and bring you out of there?
I truly don't know. It is very hazy. I don't remember.
That is fascinating.
Probably like unto the same way she found you.
I
Before
was-
Darkon kept you.
I was sworn to her. And I am Shadar Kai. That is very different. In a domain where the spirits do not move on, it is fascinating that out of all of that teeming pile of souls that the Raven Queen called one.
I often wondered that myself. Why not either of my parents were greatly skilled, but maybe it had to be someone who was born there. And
Not
that
necessarily.
means-
I was not born in Darkon. Drausken was not born in Falkovnia.
But you were born in the Shadowfell.
Drausken was born in Faerun.
It's true, I don't know. But he was there at the inception of Falkovnia, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Perhaps.
Really couldn't say.
Do you know anything of the Dreadlord in Mordant? I see Tanya grin because Loraphyra asked the question that Tiana knows that Tanya can't answer. Sorry.
It's okay if you
I was
say you
supposed
don't
to ask
know.
Adam about that, but it's also 9:30, so maybe that we could pick that up where we left off next
One
once I get the answers to the questions.
mysteries upon mysteries continue to surround this realm. There is one thing I am most curious of, though. You say that Morgentians have made a lifestyle of this broken cycle, that they have come to accept the nature of spirits and their inability to pass on. Has it always been that way, or did
For
something
them?
occur?
As far as I know, that has always been that way for them. But I mean, I know perhaps I will remember more when we go back, or when I go back, but I mean, growing up among them, it wasn't just normal, just an everyday thing. I mean, it's not like you looked around and see the spirits everywhere, but you knew they were there and they were strong enough they could
A dread
affect the
domain
physical
doesn't.
world.
A dread domain does not operate naturally. It must be acted upon by the will of an individual, such as my Empress for when she first struck the Nightingale Bell,
Such as
and
this
same with
general.
this general as well. Someone must have acted upon Mordant to break the cycle. However long ago it may have been, that is how the domain came to be. The question then remains, why break this cycle and to what end?
A great question. And that is a perfect line, I think, upon which to end the session.
Well done, Chris.
Yes, thank you.
Cutting straight to the heart of the matter.
I mean, as we try to do.
Player knows things. We'll find out.
We'll find out next week on Dragon Ball Z. So thank you all so much for being here this week for Death, as we dive deeper into what's going on and hopefully get some questions answered while raising 5,000 more questions, because that is the nature of an Adam campaign. You answer one question, you get 10 more. That's just kind of the way she rolls. No, we're not going to go storm Orcus's kingdom. We are level 8. Thank you very much. I would like to not die. Falangor, I see you. Stop it.
That might have to be another campaign with a different crew.
Maybe after we're done with the A team or whatever we're going to call ourselves. So thank you all so much for being here this week. We will be back next week for more Death, and then the schedule gets fucky because I'm traveling a lot for work and other things, and families come into town. So the majority of April is going to be off. Probably. We're going to talk more about that. So, keep an eye out for what's going on. Check out you are not the A-team. Falangor, I see you. Come check out the Discord if you want to see the schedule and know what all is going on. I post in there fairly regularly to update on schedule. Thursday night I'm going to be doing some Power Wash Simulator to chill, because it's not a long week, but there's enough going on. So check out the Discord if you want to know what all's going on here in the Fae realm. And until we meet again, friends, I hope that your journey back through the mushroom circles is as calm and as peaceful as it is possible to be. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you all again very soon. We're going to raid out to someone, so stick around for that. Probably Jen is online. Tell her I say hi from the Domains of Dread. We'll see you all very soon. Good night.